Don't fake it until you make it. Build it until they can't ignore you. Welcome back. I am Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is the Great Series, where we discuss the greatest minds to ever live and what it means to be intellectually gifted. We've all heard the phrase, fake it until you make it. It's the go-to advice for new jobs, new ventures, or new stages of life. And it works, but only temporarily. Acting the part can get you through a door, but it won't keep you inside the room. Sooner or later, the truth surfaces. If you haven't built the foundation brick by brick, the weight of success will collapse on you. A country song by Toby Keith, How Do You Like Me Now?, captures this better than any TED Talk. The story: he was overlooked, laughed off, dismissed. Years later, his voice filled radios across America. The song was his declaration. You didn't see it then, but you can't ignore it now. That's the real formula of greatness. Not faking, not posing, building. Why faking it fails? Fake it until you make it is built on illusion. It says, project confidence, bluff your way forward, and eventually you'll grow into the role. At its best, it can help people step into unfamiliar spaces without paralyzing fear. At its worst, it becomes a trap, a performance without substance. The ceiling is low. You can trick yourself into confidence, and you can trick others into giving you a chance. But fakery is fragile. If you climb fast without learning the lessons at each rung, you'll find yourself unable to hold the position you faked your way into. The cracks appear when the first real test arrives. Think of it like skipping gym training. You might bulk up on borrowed energy drinks and flash muscle in the mirror for a while. But if your core strength isn't there, the first heavy lift will crush you. Faking builds the appearance of readiness. Building creates the reality. The same principle governs genius, artistry, business, or leadership. Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't fake it, he stayed in it. Einstein was rejected from academia, forced to work at a patent office, scribbling relativity on scraps of paper. He didn't fake it. He endured isolation until his equations became undeniable. Marie Curie carried radioactive test tubes in her pockets, risking her health to isolate radium. She didn't fake brilliance. She embodied relentless persistence, brick by brick. Faking can get you a role in the play. Building writes the script of history. The brick-by-brick model. True greatness is built, not borrowed. Every rejection, every setback, every no adds another layer of steel to your foundation. It takes longer, yes. It looks unimpressive at first, yes. But one day it towers so high that the same people who ignored you can no longer deny your presence. High rises aren't built in a weekend. First comes excavation. Concrete is poured deep into the earth. Layers of steel rise slowly upward. At first it looks like nothing, an empty pit, scaffolding, dust. But when it's finished, you can see it from miles away. It casts shadows over entire blocks. It redefines the skyline. That is how greatness works. It doesn't arrive polished. It is constructed, reinforced, and made undeniable over time. The greats proved the point. History is littered with figures who refused fakery and chose building instead. Their legacies remind us why foundations matter. J.K. Rowling. 12 publishers said no. She didn't fake her way into Harry Potter. She wrote it in cafes, on welfare, rejection slip by rejection slip, until one yes changed everything. By the time success arrived, her foundation was unshakable. Howard Hughes. He built planes everyone said were impossible. He didn't bluff his way through aerospace. He designed, crashed, rebuilt, and tested again until the machines stayed in the sky. Hughes embodied the engineering principle. You can't fake aerodynamics. Physics demands reality. Donald Trump, polarizing, but illustrative. In the 1980s, he literally put President of the United States on his vision board. Decades later, against every odd, he did it not once, but twice. No fakery could have sustained that. Whatever one thinks of him, it was built on persistence, branding, and a refusal to stop showing up. Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty, rejected repeatedly, told she wasn't fit for television. Oprah didn't fake it. She built an empire brick by brick. Her foundation of media mastery and relentless consistency allowed her to dominate the cultural landscape for decades. Steve Jobs. Jobs didn't bluff his way into Apple. He obsessed over design, studied typography, pushed engineers until machines matched his vision. He failed publicly, even fired from the very company he founded. But he rebuilt, returned, and made products that altered global culture. His power came not from pretending, but from constructing something real. Legacy versus appearances. Faking is about appearances. Building is about legacy. The greats didn't care if they looked successful in the moment. Many of them looked like failures, eccentrics, lunatics, or recluses while alive. Van Gogh sold one painting in his lifetime. Nikola Tesla died broke in a hotel room. Emily Dickinson published fewer than a dozen poems while alive. They didn't look like success stories. They looked like obscurities. But what they built outlasted ridicule, because what they built was real. Legacies aren't built overnight. They are built over lifetimes. The higher you want to rise, the stronger the foundation you must lay beneath it. Fakery can win you applause today. Building secures remembrance tomorrow. Why society loves fakery. There is a reason fake it until you make it resonates. Fakery is fast. It is social theater. People love stories of quick success, instant glow-ups, or viral breakthroughs. Faking provides the appearance of mastery without the sacrifice required to earn it. But appearances collapse under scrutiny. The social media influencer who buys followers is exposed the moment real engagement is required. The startup founder who bluffs investors is exposed when the product fails. The student who plagiarizes is exposed at the first exam. Fakery is fragile because reality always calls the bluff. Society rewards fakery in the short term because it entertains. But history only remembers builders. Building as survival. For many geniuses, building brick by brick was not a strategy. It was survival. Galileo built his telescopes painstakingly, knowing the Inquisition was waiting to silence him. He endured imprisonment, but his foundation in evidence meant his discoveries outlasted his censors. James Dyson built over 5,000 prototypes of his vacuum before one finally worked. No fakery could have sustained that level of repetition. Only building could. Temple Grandin, autistic scientist and designer, rebuilt livestock handling from the ground up by perceiving what others couldn't. Her credibility came not from pretending, but from proving, again and again, that her designs worked. Building is more than method. It is the only shield against collapse. Fakery crumbles when tested. Building survives. The psychology of builders. Why do some people fake while others build? Psychology provides the answer. Faking relies on external validation. The faker needs to be seen as competent to feel competent. They borrow status, hoping it will stick. Building relies on internal compulsion. Builders would keep going even without applause, because the work itself demands completion. They are less concerned with looking like geniuses and more concerned with becoming one. This is why the greats often looked strange, obsessive, or socially detached. Their energy wasn't spent on appearances. It was poured into foundations. The eccentricity was not a side effect. It was proof they were too busy building to fake. The cost of building is slower. It demands resilience. It means rejection, ridicule, and invisibility for years or even decades. This is why so few choose it. Fakery is easier. Building is brutal. But the brutal path produces what fakery never can: permanence. Every rejection letter, every failed prototype, every failed speech is not wasted. It is another brick. When the tower finally rises, its weight is undeniable. Conclusion: be unignorable. Greatness is not an act. It's a structure. Faking is an audition. Building is construction. One entertains briefly, the other reshapes skylines. So don't fake it until you make it. Build it until they can't ignore it. Let time, rejection, and persistence be the mortar. When your high-rise is complete, it won't matter who doubted you along the way. They'll all be standing in its shadow. Lesson: success that can be faked is not real success. Only what you build endures. And once it stands, it becomes too solid, too visible, and too undeniable to ever be ignored.